joined by an eminent panel to discuss this. We're joined by Sangmitra Singh from the Population Foundation of India. We're joined by Madhavan Narayanan, senior journalist, PKD Nambiar, political analyst, Atikur Rahman, a scholar. Welcome all to the show. If I can start, well, an important statement, PKD. एक समय के बाद, he's trying to say that it could lead to anarchy.
Absolutely. In fact, there are two elements to it. One is the scientific element, what my co-panelist was just talking about. That is it true that that our population control is coming to the required level of maybe a 2.1 or a 2.7, which may be true to an extent. There is no doubt. Some part of our country, are especially my home state, which is Kerala, is showing that that it is coming down drastically.
Yes.
On the other side, on the other part, couple of maybe a year ago, I was invited to be on a show on a BBC with Dr. S.Y. Qureshi and me. We were having a very solid debate, which was only on the population control. I still have the same question. That is, like a country like India, the ideal population for a country like India is for 80 crore people, maybe a little less than that, or an 800 million, whatever you call it. But here is a population which is almost 1.4 billion. We have been developing as a country from the last several decades. You always, every day and day out, you hear about the kind of development, the roads, infrastructure, the number of housing schemes, so on and so forth. But even in a place like Delhi or in Mumbai, a large number of our population, somebody was telling it's about 25 to 30% of the population are still living in slums or underneath on the roadsides or underneath of the over bridges. They do not even still do have the basic facilities what a human being of 2022 should get. So that means there is already an explosion had taken place. Now we may be stabilizing over a period of time. I do remember when I was a student in the schools, we were used to be told there was a topics on subjects that is all about population control, the challenges what the population is going to, if it is not controlled. Then over a period of time, when I started my business journey about 20 years back, people started talking about, as my co-panel was, it's all about the human resources is the wealth of the nation. It is it is something going to be the assets. Now, my humble question, there are two elements. One is the scientific one, which people now talking about, except the UP, Bihar, and some of the states. Many states are coming down. That is a fact. But the danger which Yogi said, now I'll tell you with the facts if you give me 2 minutes. The fact is that there is a huge demographic changes taking place. Give you an example. For an example, as I said, that Kerala in every index in this country, it leads. We all know that whether it is literacy, health, the human life index, the life expectancy, etc., almost in everything, it is at par with the West. Now, the challenge is that the population of the population, one of the very few states in the country, which has really worked hard when it comes to population control, whether it is hum do hamara teen, तो एकदम जैसे कहते हैं ना कि like everybody was following that, हम दो हमारा दो, everybody followed that, हम एक हमारा एक वो भी follow कर रहे थे. But the truth is that only a particular community has always been behaving not in the same spirit. So I can show you now with the facts. For an example, in I'll go straight away to Kerala rather than going to everywhere, because I have a full data in front of me, because I had given a couple of lectures on this.
We need to go to other panelists also.
You go ahead, then you come back. I'll give you the data.
Yeah, sure. In fact, that's the point. PKD, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I agree with each one of you, and there is, whether it is Atik Saab or Mr. Madhavan, and with all due respect to you, I also little learned the economics in the college. Maybe may not be of Sri Ram College of in Delhi, but in Payyanur College in Kerala. Now, I'll tell you the reason. There is a slight difference. The population is not about economics. That's first and foremost. Let me correct you this for here forever. Population is not about just for it has got socio, political, religious, so many ramifications. Since we were talking about the data, there is nothing called as communal, whatever I am talking. There is nothing called as fundamentalism, what I am talking about. I will go clearly by the data. I have the whole national data, but I don't want to go there right now. I will specifically go to one because Atik Saab said that 80s till 80s or early 90s, it was a truth, but it is not the truth now. Now, let me go in the early 1900. The population of Kerala was 82% of the overall population of Kerala was Hindus. Then Muslims and Christians were equal. Forget about that also. That was a big, more than a century old. Now comes to 1951, after our independence. One of the first population, the census was happened. The population of 62% were Hindus. Muslims were 17.53%. Christians were 21%. I'm talking about only the Kerala. Hindus in 2001, after 1951, I'm straight away coming to 2001. Hindus have become 55%. Muslims have become 25%. Christians have come down to 19%. Okay, that's okay. Now coming to 2011, which was the last census. Hindus Hindus have further come down to 52% or something like that. Muslims have become 27%. Christians have further come down to 18 point something, some percentage. Now you tell me, is the demographic changes happening or only the pure economics happening? And the Muslims in the state of Kerala are the most educated in this country. They are economically upward, even above the Hindus in the state of Kerala. Now coming to that also, let's go to again. I'm quoting the last year's economic. Every year the state government come up with a report which is called as economic survey report. The birth ratio of Muslims in 2016 to or in the before that is 40, every 27% of the population that is Muslims, 53% of the population that is Hindu, and for every 100 child which is born in the state of Kerala today, 43 of them are Muslims out of the 27%. Now coming to the 54% or a 53% of the Hindus produce only 40 kids. Now tell me which logic of economics, which logics of democracy, and average productivity rate of Hindus have come down to 1.4, and the average productivity rate of Muslims in the state of Kerala has gone almost 3%. Now tell me which logic should I apply? And this is, I'm talking about the most educated state of the country. Now, not only that. No, 1 second more. I won't take much time. I'll tell you another thing. What is the danger which, when I'm talking about it, when I say this, I'm not an anti-Muslim. I have born and brought up amongst most of my classmates were the Muslims. I still employ a lot of them. So I don't want any certificate from anyone. But the truth is truth. Now I'll give you another example. That when I was in the Udupi, the Malabar region, from Malappuram to the Govan coast, I was traveling for 10 days in the last week. You know what is the danger it brings in? The food habits have completely changed. Beef has become like a national food of that region. I have nothing against it. It's your right to eat. Shawarma, all the food habits have changed. I feel so sad that most of the way the people dress in that particular coast, the entire Malabar coast has completely changed. To my utter surprise, even the retail shops do have. Tell me, in Kerala में अरबी के ऊपर बोर्ड लगाने का क्या मतलब है आपको? क्या जरूरत है आपको? पूछ रहा हूं मैं आपको. Why not Hindi, not Tamil, not English, not even Malayalam? You have signboards of retail shops today right in Arabic.
So Madhavan, but before I go to Madhavan, Sangmitra, quickly you want to come in and respond?
Yeah. So what I'd like to say in response to Mr. Nambiar is, yes, population is a socio-economic issue. It's not a political issue. It's not an electoral issue. As far as you're talking about data is concerned, yes, we must look at data, but we must look at disaggregated data. I'm going to talk about the National Family Health Survey, which is Ministry of Health and Family Welfare's own data. Fertility declines by education level of women. So when you look at the absolute fertility rate, please don't look at the absolute numbers. You must also compare how fertility rates are lower among women with more than 10 years of education in, say, a state like UP. And it's going to be high for women who are not educated, whether they are Hindu, whether they are
Wrong,
Muslim, whether
wrong,
they are
wrong.
Sikh. It's going to be high. I mean, sir, this is what I
Completely
do
wrong.
on a daily
Completely wrong.
basis. I analyze data.
It's
The
completely
second thing
wrong.
I want to say is
The statement has no value. Whatever she
this is
said,
government of
Sumitra.
India's data. This is
No,
not
I'm
my
coming
data.
to
This
that.
is
So the
India's
problem
data.
is the selective data. So the government of India's data is absolutely right. I am not going to dispute that. The problem right now, the population issue in India is that look at from the western UP, from the Delhi to Rampur till to the Nepal border. What is the percentage of population growth has happened? In the Assam,
Okay.
all the neighboring Bangladeshi neighboring districts,
Well,
what is the population explosion did
well,
happen?
we're
Forget
talking about
that. Not
the
only that, so that the way when you do the micro data analysis of population, it needs to
okay.
be. I am only talking
Let
about not
let
about
let let
the
let
demographic
Sangmitra
changes.
complete. Let PKD
Because
let her
the
complete her
demographic
point.
thing, only one thing.
Yeah.
Let's discuss the demographic changes which is
Okay.
taking place. That
Okay. Let her.
leads to a cultural change. That leads to a
Okay.
social
You made
societal
your point.
imbalance.
You made
That is
your
what.
point, PKD. You explained it also, but let her complete her point.
Malayalis work in countries
अरे
including Saudi
माधवन
Arabia
साहब
and UAE.
आपसे पूछो कश्मीर में क्या
No,
हुआ था आपको पता है? You
no,
tell me
no.
the history of
Kashmir.
Kashmir. No. Just let me ask you, where is the demographic change leads to? The finest example is Kashmir. Tell me 200 years ago, what was the demographic reality of Kashmir? Or 300 years
No,
before, what was
Kashmir,
the demographic reality of Kashmir?
PKD,
And where are you today? So the
Kashmir has
problem,
gone
I'm
through a
just
different
telling you,
phase.
I'm not talking
No,
about, not
No,
only that,
hang
go to
on.
Assam. No, let me tell you, go to Assam. Tell me,
okay.
Sangamitra, just ask
Sir, why you
Sangamitra.
are communalizing the whole debate,
No,
sir?
I'm not
I think
communalizing. I'm telling you the
Yes,
fact.
you are
There is a
communalizing. I'll say how you are
I am only
communalizing.
saying there is a
let
demographic change which is taking place
If
in this
the
country.
democratic
It is
change is
definitely, it
for
is not in the
betterment,
interest
what
of
is
the
the
country.
problem?
It is not in
Sir,
the
if the
interest of the country.
demographic change is for
hang on.
betterment, they are getting a foreign
hang
exchange.
on,
What
What
is
is
the
the
Atikur
betterment?
betterment?
Rahman,
Sir, where is the
Atikur
betterment
Rahman.
is coming in?
Let,
Where is the
let me
betterment is
I'll tell
coming in?
you.
please.
Give me a
What
chance.
culture where
One
it
at a
belongs
time.
to is
PKD.
completely.
Right. So let's have a final round of comments from all our panelists. PKD, starting with you.
See, as I said once again, if I'm sounding like a fundamentalist or a communalist, then I am sorry. I can only tell you that I am not. But
Okay.
I'm whatever data which I am quoting and why I am quoting is I'm not. There is population control is very much needed. As I said, ideal population for this country, none of our natural resources are growing as the population is growing. Scientifically, right, the population should be below, I mean, at least 80 crore. So we are way ahead than that. Yes, it is true that it is overall our the ratio of our growth is coming down. That is scientific and the data is right. But then there is a problem in the western UP from Delhi to Uttarakhand border. There is a
Right.
growth of Muslim population dynastic.
Okay.
From Bihar to Nepal border, the Chambaran to Santal to Pakmana into Jharkhand, there is a huge population increase of Muslims. Not only that, just quickly coming in, completing it. Many parts of West Bengal, whereas for an example, districts like Dinapur, Birham, all these places of Hindus have already become a minority, and Madhavan may not have any problem. I do have an issue because there is a story of Assam is also not different. The eastern border entirely is going for a demographic change. Northeast has become completely a Christian state from a 3% in 1900. Today it is 75%. Kashmir is not a different. So demographic change will be completely making a cultural change, which is not in the interest of any. Simple scientific population is more in Tamil Nadu than in Kerala. 3 crores and 6 crores. It's very simple, sir. It's very simple logic. I think you need to go back to those college once
we are at the end of our discussion. Thanks so much to all of you for joining. Indeed, it's a very important topic that needs to be discussed and focused on and understood in a better way. Thanks to all our panelists for joining us today. That's all we have in the show. Thanks for watching.